Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Adams, and I'm a marine forecaster at the National Hurricane Center. This is a weekly tropical Atlantic marine weather briefing. Currently, there are no marine warnings in effect across the tropical Atlantic. However, we are monitoring the potential for tropical formation east of the Lesser Antilles over the next few days. Showers and thunderstorms are occurring near tropical wave, currently around 1,000 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. Environmental conditions are only marginally conducive for tropical formation within the next day or so, as the wave moves towards the west-northwest. However, the environment is expected to become increasingly unfavorable for further development by midweek. Make sure to check hurricanes.gov over the next several days for additional information on this potential system. Here's a look at the surface analysis over the tropical Atlantic from this morning. The tropical wave that was just mentioned is located around 45 west. Farther west, a 1010 millibar low is located over the south central Caribbean. The strong pressure gradient between this low, high pressure over the Gulf, and high pressure over the central Atlantic is inducing fresh to strong trade winds offshore of northern Colombia, as well as 8 to 10 foot seas. In the Gulf of America, a westward moving surface trough will support fresh to locally strong east to northeast winds this afternoon and evening, north of the Yucatan Peninsula and into the eastern Bay of Campeche. Otherwise, high pressure dominates the remainder of the Gulf and much of the open Atlantic waters. Taking a look at the forecast for Monday, July 21st, not much change is expected in the overall weather pattern. The tropical wave in the open Atlantic will continue to move towards the west. Fresh to strong trade winds in the central Caribbean will expand a bit in coverage, and 8 to 10 foot seas will occur near and to the west of the strongest winds. By Monday afternoon and evening, fresh to strong northeast winds will again develop in the south central Gulf into the Bay of Campeche, and this trend is expected each day this week. Otherwise, fresh to strong southwest winds will develop offshore of eastern Florida ahead of a cold front moving off the coast of the southeastern U.S. For Tuesday, the westward moving tropical wave may produce some fresh winds and locally rough seas in its vicinity, especially towards the northern extent of the wave. In the Caribbean, winds and seas are expected to diminish slightly as the pressure gradient relaxes between the south central Caribbean low and high pressure to the north. Elsewhere, an area of low pressure is forecast to develop near or just offshore of the Carolinas, and fresh south to southwest winds will be possible off the coast of Florida surrounding this low. By Tuesday night, pulsing fresh to strong east to southeast winds are expected north of Hispaniola and into the southern Bahamas on the periphery of Atlantic high pressure. These winds will pulse nightly through late week. By Wednesday, the tropical wave is forecast to be just east of the Lesser Antilles, and fresh to strong winds and rough seas will expand westward, entering the eastern Caribbean. Fresh to locally strong winds and seas to 8 feet will also prevail offshore of Colombia and northwestern Venezuela. Elsewhere, in the northeastern Gulf, an area of weak low pressure is expected to drift towards the west over the following days. On Thursday, the tropical wave will continue to progress westward into the central Caribbean, leading to fresh to locally strong winds over the central and eastern basin, as well as locally rough seas. Elsewhere, the low pressure in the northeastern Gulf will move westward into the north central basin, and fresh winds may develop as the low strengthens slightly. Finally, for Friday, the tropical wave is forecast to be over the west central Caribbean, and fresh to strong winds and rough seas will continue in the region. In the Gulf, low pressure will weaken as it continues to drift westward, though locally fresh winds will continue to be possible surrounding the low. Thanks for tuning in to the weekly weather briefing. The next briefing will be issued on Thursday, July 24th. Have a safe week.